We're going to start this morning with just a commercial and be right back.
Are you ready to be a success? Master your career, you're a success. Do you believe it? A success. Come on, let's be a success. See, are you ready to be a success? She's a career master. A success. A success. A success. A success.
Good morning and welcome to Career Mastered Inside Career Success. I'm Dr. Lisa Wicker. I am your host today and thrilled to be here with you in this beautiful month of April. I'm ecstatic that you have chosen to spend time with us as we talk to high-profile women. Today's guest is one of our honorees from the 2025 National Career Mastered Women's Leadership Awards, and none other than Glenda Gill. I will bring her on shortly. Before I do that, I just would like to let you know really the purpose and intent of this show and why we do it. It is really to explore the careers of high profile women. This show is about that. Women who are mastering their careers, women who are in the arena each and every day doing the business of business, those who are compelled to help others and bring them along the way. They are those that celebrate and lift others up. And oh, by the way, we also invite men allies to this show, those that help women progress, because Career Mastered is about advancing women's leadership. The Career Master magazine was established in 2018 with launch parties in New York, Charlotte, and Detroit. And since that time, it has become a global digital and print magazine where we showcase and tell her story. But we also provide opportunities for young girls that come along, and we help them with STEM, finance, arts, and business, and provide opportunities for them to be mentored and to see really what success looks like. Today, we're pleasantly surprised to talk to Glenda and all about her career. I've known her for some time and really have admired her from afar and also have worked with her. But before she comes on, I just want to showcase that the spring magazine is has released, and you can get that at careermaster.com. Talia Fox is on the cover. She is the CEO of Kusai Training, and a wonderful woman who has written a book about the habits of conscious connections. This year's theme for Career Mastered is making connections. It starts with her. And we are hosting brunches throughout the nation, maybe in a city near you. The first one is going to take place in Charlotte, North Carolina. It will be held on May the 6th at Myers Park Country Club, where we will honor April Simpkins, as well as have a panel discussion and offer the opportunities for women to connect. The second one is going to be in Detroit on May the 20th, where multi-award winning civil rights attorney Ariva Martin will be the guest speaker. And we will also have an opportunity to network with amazing women in that arena. And so don't miss out. Go over to careermaster.com and take an opportunity to select your seat reserved now, because our programs typically sell out, and certainly I don't want you to miss out. So with that, let me bring on our guest. Hi, Glenda.
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for waking up early. I know you're on the West Coast and time is a little bit different. So I appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. And as I mentioned to our audience, I have admired you from afar, even before I got to know you when you were working in Detroit. And then once I had a chance to meet you, I just adore you. In fact, the other day, I was going to tell you this, I found a photo where we were at a golf affair in Atlanta. And you were part of that with the Jeep and Chrysler brands. So we're going to get to talk, but hey, let me tell the audience a little bit more about you and introduce you formally, and then we'll have a chance to chat. So
Okay.
Glenda Gill is an innovator for the 21st century. Throughout her career, she has closed gaps and built bridges through economic development with distressed communities around the nation. She is the CEO and founder of Save a Girl, Save a World, a multi-generational mentoring organization empowering young women through programs in career development, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, health, and leadership. A courageous woman, She took on the automotive industry and bridged the divide in corporate and community relations by crafting a strategic vision to achieve corporate, community, and public relations goals. And I know that to be true. Recognized as one of 5 women of color in the automotive industry who drove and propelled minority business development. Previously, Gill served 20 years as executive director of Rainbow Push CEF Global Automotive Project. She is a 2025 Career Master National Women's Diversity Impact honoree. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you, Lisa. It's an honor and a privilege to be here today. I am so excited when I received the news that you wanted to feature me. And of course, I never see the recognition, but I'm always excited when when I get it.
Yeah, you deserve it. I mean, I know, as I said, from having the opportunity to work with you as working as one chief diversity officer at Chrysler and working at the same time when I first started there, I was working with Monica Emerson, and we all used to work together.
Mhm.
So it's been a joy to watch your career excel. What I want to talk about is first and foremost, we are in changing times right now.
We are.
And the times are quite different for many people. And one of the topics that certainly is on everybody's mind right now is the deceleration of DEI. I'd just like to ask, just on the top, what are your thoughts and what should people be doing in this time? I do have an opinion, but I'd rather hear from you first about your thoughts about what's happening.
Um, well, definitely there's a retrenchment, first and foremost, but it's also an opportunity. It's an opportunity to remake what's wrong. Uh,
Mm,
while everything is being torn down and people are fleeing in fear, I think it's a great opportunity for us to build anew, especially in ethnic communities, because you never sat at the table when the institutions were being built. You probably sat at the table as a worker or being enslaved or not having any rights or any equity at all. But now you can sit at the table as things are being remade. But also, which is even more important to me, is that you can set your standards.
yes.
We had to adopt and adapt to some other standards that were set for us. This time we can set our standards and
Mhm,
we can determine what we want to do and not what we want to do. And if we are not part of it, we don't come to the table.
mhm,
I think it's a great opportunity. I saw an email yesterday from an organization that I align with on the organization side, and it was about a department that was gutted that they were working with, and it was on really on tobacco.
mhm,
And the people were like, "Oh my God, oh wow." I said, "Oh wow." I said, "This is an opportunity. Now
mhm,
you can hire the people that they terminated to work with you, and you can fight fire with fire, because
yes.
now you'll be able to get some talent that you normally would not get.
Mhm,
And you might not be able to pay them market rates, but you can pay them something. So you
mhm,
can take their talents and skills and help you build and solidify your infrastructure." So I see that as, we have to, we've got to sort of pivot from it, because at first it's like the shock.
yes.
Got to get over the shock. So then you got to think strategically. How can we do this? How can we rebuild? And hopefully you'll come out stronger and better.
Yeah, I really like that because rather than seeing the negative, we have to understand what is, I say, the 80-20. What's going well, do something with what we have,
Hmm.
and keep hope and continue to work. As you say, pivoting is a requirement. You just adjust, and there are going to be barriers. So I agree. I think many people now are getting past the shock, right, and moving on to make something of what has been, I would say, um, brushed a little bit harder than we thought. But hey, we've been through stuff like this before, and the struggle is nothing new. And so we just get better with time.
Well, we've invested so much. We've
Yes.
given so much. We've invested so much. And we almost feel betrayed.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the first emotional feeling that you're having is like a betrayal. Like, I've contributed to everything over and above. double digits doing it, and you're still trying to pull the rug away.
Yeah.
And but in pulling this rug away, we're going to come back bigger, stronger, and hopefully get things that we want to have be a part of the agenda of this big tent of what we call America. Everybody, we say it, but we don't believe it and act it.
Yep, yep. Well, that leads me to your background and your impressive career. With that said, you have been a trailblazer, Glenda, and I don't have to tell you that. And in the work that you have done, particularly in the automotive industry, working with some of the world's top companies. Why don't you share with us your backstory? Because I know you got the 313 on.
Uh, the backstory is I have always been, my characteristics are around equity and fairness. I'm a Libra, so everything's got to be balanced
Yeah.
for me. So I came about to in the automotive industry to work with Reverend Jackson. I was Reverend Jackson decided that he was going to start these Wall Street projects. And the Wall Street projects were built around industries in certain cities. And he felt that we were in the fourth stage of our freedom struggle, which was access to industry, capital, and technology. So the first stage was to end legal slavery. The second stage was to end Jim Crow. The third stage was access for the right to vote. And the fourth stage was access to industry, capital, and technology. And that's where we are here. Every stage we get to there are roadblocks. Every single stage, we have to fight to go to the next one, fight to go to the next one. But for everybody, it makes it better. And it's not just for us. The beneficiaries are everyone, if people would see it through that lens. So that's how I came to the automotive industry, because, of course, I was from Detroit. And automotive industry is a big industry that turns the wheels of the world.
Yes.
Not just America, but of the world. And so we had offices in Atlanta, New York, Houston, Texas, Cleveland, Chicago, Washington, D.C. And then for each of those cities, if you reflect on them, you understand what industry or service that they are uniquely in. So, of course, I became the automotive. I wasn't the first director. There was a man that was a director who had come out of Ford Motor Company because they felt he understood the automotive industry. But I understood my value, and my strong point was I knew community. And so I became his assistant. Well, after a year, he left, and I assumed the role of being the director. And in that year, I learned about auto, but I grew up in auto because I lived in Detroit.
Yeah.
And of course, one of my summer jobs was I worked on the line at Cadillac, driving cars off the final assembly line. You didn't know that about
Was
me,
over
right?
there Hamtramck?
No, it was on Clark.
Oh, Clark. Okay. You're going real far back. Okay.
Yeah, that far back.
Mhm.
So that was my initial introduction to automotive. But because I'm a person about equity and fairness, I went into this role with eyes wide open. And the goal for us was, in each of those industries that we touch, was to review, assess, and monitor the equity and inclusion initiatives of the industry. And so I had to set up a framework for that. What did it look like? So we set up the framework to talk about C-level executives, employees, marketing and advertising, professional services, suppliers, dealers, and philanthropy. Those were the areas that we talked with the automotive manufacturers about what is a reflection of the employees in that area and the leadership in that area, and what goals that they have for their company, but goals that they have for their employees. And of course, everybody benefited from it. I will say that over and over again. So I talked to everybody in the industry, from the people that were in the factories and to the people that were running the companies, the CEOs. So everybody was who I had communication with. And we talked to them about their goals and talked to them about what they wanted to achieve in the market, because you want to have a return on your investment.
Yes.
And so we saw ourselves as value added to see the marketplace through a door, not a keyhole, because you look at if you're trying to make revenue, you've got to look at the entire market. So we saw ourselves as partners,
Mm-hmm.
not as adversaries, but really as partners to help everybody achieve the goal that they wanted to have.
Wow. Wow.
And, and after meeting with them for a long time about everything, we would meet every year. And as you know, we'd
Mhm.
have a survey. We developed a survey, or we called it, we developed a survey so we could get a baseline understanding of the business and where you wanted to go in that
It
business.
was a scorecard, a grading, I believe.
Well, it was a scorecard at the end. At the beginning, it was a survey. The
Okay.
outcome became the scorecard because of after talking to many people for many years, the progress was like a snail pace. And so the scorecard would ramp it up
Mm-hmm.
because people then felt like, oh, you're holding us accountable. And it's like, yes, if you say this is your goal, not our goal, this is your goal. But we have some standards that go with that goal based upon what your consumer looks like,
Mm-hmm.
based upon what you're doing in the marketplace. And so, yeah, it became like we got to get there because it was moving at a snail's pace.
Wow. Well, listening to you and realizing that that work was done, as you say, we've done the work. Okay, at this time, what is your opinion about someone else coming along like the Jessies of the world to help guide? Do we have that, or there's there work still to do in that?
There's work still to do, but I think everybody, I used to always say everybody can be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a leader in a big space, you can be a leader in a small space. I think we have a lot of young people that are now taking the reins and they see the world. For us, and depending on what generation you were born in, we saw our community.
Yeah.
Now we have the world as our lens. And I think that young people see things on a bigger scale and they have a lot to bring to the table. There is an activity that's going to happen and it's around, what are we going to do in our communities? And it's a really community-led activity around the state of the people. What is the state of the people and how do we get to the next level of where we want to go to? But I think that, Reverend Jackson and Dr. King and Reverend Sharpton and many others were for the time that we were in.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a different time now. And so there's a lot more that can come to the table. And also because being global has put another layer on everything about
Yes.
how we interface with our consumers, how we interface with our communities.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Um, Considering your role and how you just explained to us that you were working for someone and then they left and then you took on the role. So you kind of broke into that space that way. Even so, how hard and difficult was it as a woman to do the work that you were doing to get the respect that comes with the job in the auto industry? Because I was there. I know what it was for me. I'd like to hear your part of that.
Um, you were disregarded.
Yeah.
You didn't know what you were talking about. And then on top of that, I'm only 5 feet tall. So, I was dealing with that vertically challenged kind of situation as a part of me. But when you went to talk to them about their business and you knew their business, you ended up gaining their respect. And unfortunately, a lot of them became mentors for me. And I saw the industry and the business from a different lens.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we had some strong sisters that were in various places like yourself that became my confidants. Because as you said, we were dealing with a different set of issues. We were being marginalized. We were being questioned. We were not taken seriously, and you had to show up in your strong suit
Mm-hmm.
with the men of saying, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm helping you. You
Yeah.
got to look at me as your partner. And I guess I gained a lot of respect because people did see me as their partner as opposed to their adversary.
Right. Right. I mean, you had a way with people, and the relationships matter, right? And so
Absolutely.
people will respect the relationship first right? And then they hear you, right? What do you think? You We'll talk about what you do today in just a moment, but why is it important for women not to be muted or silenced and to share their truth, particularly at this moment?
Because we bring so much value to the table. We
Yes.
cannot be discounted when we're 80% of the consumer market.
Hmm.
I mean, we're making all the decisions. I mean, sometimes we make the decisions like coyly, or we'll make the decisions in the background, but be clear. We
Hmm.
are making the decisions. We run households, and I don't mean to minimize anybody's role, but
Right.
we run households like you could run a corporation.
Yeah.
Our budgets, we have supplies, we're moving people around, we're doing logistics, we are doing advertising and marketing. We do everything, and it's almost as if it's not important. But let us be absent. If
Yeah.
we were absent for 1 week, all
Yes.
this stuff would crash.
I know.
Everything would crash.
When you say just, oh, it's over,
and
period.
and we think in a way that's inclusive of others.
Yes.
So bringing your whole self, of your compassion self, your
Mhm.
loving self to the table matters. And if
Yes.
you don't have that, you have wars and you have fights, and you have where you can't have any achievement of things. I mean, we're very goal oriented,
For sure.
and success and achievement means a lot to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I know that what you have established is phenomenal. Tell us about your role now as the CEO and founder of Save a Girl, Save a World. What is the origin, and tell us what it's about?
Well, I'll start with saying this was an assignment.
Hmm.
This was nowhere in my purview of what I would be doing at this season of my life.
Yeah.
Um, but it's the most joyful season of my life because I'm serving young people, young women who attend HBCUs, about seeing their dreams come true, helping to navigate, be a GPS for their professional and personal lives.
Hmm.
I During while I was working for Rainbow Push, attended a luncheon in Chicago, and the speaker at the time was Dr. Julianne Malvo, and her speech was about gender equity. She said, if we want to save the world, we need to save our girls. So, of course, that so resonated with the ladies that were sitting at the table. And of course, when women get together and they hear a good idea and they latch onto that idea, they decide, we're going to do this. And so the women at the table said, we're going to do it. And we met for about a year.
Hmm.
And I was living in LA, so I was flying back and forth to Detroit every month. But nonetheless, we're sitting at the table. We said, oh, we're going to do something with this. A couple of things happened. The idea of the seed was planted by Dr. Julianne Malvo about saving the world to save girls.
Hmm.
The second piece, there was someone else sitting at the table who at that time was with Ford Motor Company Fund. She said, if you can get it started, and I always give her credit for this, Pam Alexander,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
can get
Okay.
it started, I'm going to give you your seed money.
Okay.
The third thing that happened was Dr. Malvo said, if you get it started, you can come to our college and host your first event. So now we had a place, an idea, and some money.
And somebody.
And then the third thing was another sister friend who is Barbara Perkins, and I always give these ladies credit. She said, I'm going to help you design it. And of
Oh,
course, we knew we wanted to do mentoring. So she was an OD person. And so over the course of the year, we met. We like to meet.
yeah.
To have lunch, and we get the chance to talk about and catch up on our lives.
Yeah.
And so by the second year, I said, we got to get out the gate. If we don't get out this gate, we won't have anything. And so we had a structure, which was a multi-generational mentoring organization where adult women mentor college students and college students mentor high school girls. And we call that mentoring model a triad.
Okay.
We launched at Bennett College in 2011, and we are 15 years in.
Hmm.
And now we're at Clark Atlanta University as our anchor school, and we have 5 HBCU campuses of where we have young women that we mentor. And then our pillars that we mentor under are health and wellness, lifestyles and leadership, career entrepreneurship, and financial literacy and wealth legacy, because we feel those are the life skills that are essential to young women to success.
This is true. This is true. Phenomenal. I love it because I have that passion as well, and it really makes a difference. Um, you say it's an assignment, and I believe assignments come from part of the journey that got you to this point in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Take us back to your hometown and tell us about the community of people that help you have the wherewithal and the passion for the things that you do.
Well, I will start with the D, Detroit. That's my home.
Yeah.
And it just gave you a foundation that was rooted in freedom,
Mhm.
a foundation in knowing oneself, and one can achieve anything. And I attribute that to my upbringing in Detroit. I went to a public school. I went to a great high school in Detroit. I went to Cass Tech.
Of course, I knew you were going to say it. Aztec.
McKenzie High School as well.
Okay, and McKinsey.
And then I, was able to get money to go to college because I came up in the generation where, post the Civil Rights, 1964 Civil Rights Act.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I went to college based upon that. And so that took me to where I'm at today. But the foundation of Detroit, Detroiters were engaged at all levels. They were community engaged. They were politically engaged. They were spiritually engaged.
Mm-hmm.
The automotive industry afforded that for a lot of people to have that special sense of freedom, that you could be anything and you could go anywhere and you could be who you are and not have to you didn't have to wear what I call a mask. You could just be authentically yourself. And you were raised with the sense of, I can do anything in the world. So when I left Detroit, I was like, I'm ready for the world. I could do anything. So it gave you that strong sense of purpose.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. Well, I definitely have Detroit in my blood and understand. I love the fact that it's so rich in so many ways. That on every corner there's something different, but yet it's authentic. And so I like the fact of community. One more thing.
So one thing, Lisa, not to interrupt you.
That's okay.
It gave you grit.
Yes. Yes.
Detroit gave you grit. You
Yes.
had strong work ethics.
Mm-hmm.
You had strong community ethics. Again, it just told you you can do this. You can be this. You can do this, and you can go anywhere in the world because we've given you all the tools from a community perspective and your family perspective.
Yes. And you're right. I mean, I think about places I've been. I always want to come back to Detroit. There's a magnet that pulls you back there because of not only the community, but you get everything in terms of the melting pot of the world. And it does prepare you for life.
And Detroit instills in you a dignity level.
Yes.
That you've got to be respected, right?
Let's just, that is it for sure. So tell us before we leave, it's hard to give up when things are going bad, and giving up is fundamentally maybe where some people may think they are today, but we know it to be different. When you fall, you can run again. Tell us some of your secrets for how you run again when things seem a little bleak.
I get quiet. I get still.
Mm-hmm.
I have a daily ritual. I'm very disciplined about my daily rituals. I call it my devotion hour, and it's all about me.
Yeah.
The world is shut out, and that's every day. Oh. And when I don't do that, I know it, but it's got to happen during that day. Before the next day. So that is that's established in my life.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And last, can you share with our audience a parting word for a career mastered moment, some type of advice that you'd like to leave them with? And we have Carol and Michelle on, and this is a replay, so people will be able to hear it after we part.
In this season, I would ask us to give each other grace. Mm-hmm. Because we need it.
Yeah.
And hold on.
I like that. And with that, we're going to part. I'm going to thank you for being with us, and congratulations again on the success of your career, the success of what you're doing with the girls, and also for being an honoree this year. Your impact is significant. And I always say when people come across those that are good keepers, good keepers, and good trouble. I love good trouble.
You see
Uh,
my picture?
yeah, yep, good trouble.
That's what reminds me all the time.
Yeah, you keep up with them, right? And even if you don't see them for years, you can pick up where you left off. I've enjoyed working with you. I adore the work you do, and I hope to see you soon, Glenda. Thank you so very much for joining us
Lisa,
today.
can I leave something about, if you want to know more about Save a Girl?
Yes, please do.
Please go to www.saveagirlsaveaworld.org, because that's my purpose and my passion until I leave this earth.
I'm going to write it as we do. Save a girl.
Save,
www. I'm
save,
right.
saveagirlsaveaworld.org.
aworld.org. So I have www.saveagirlsaveaworld.org. Okay.
Yes.
And
If
I
you
put
want to
that
be a
in.
mentor, or if you got young women at the 6 HBCUs, which is Clark, Benedict, North Carolina A&T, Tennessee State University, and Howard University. Yes.
Well, you and I'll talk because I think it was 2 years ago we did the HBCU Queens in our magazine, and
Right.
certainly if you're working with them, I'll reach out to you because it's very important that we share their stories.
It is. And I think also, I didn't give you this, but during this time, we've got to be collective, collaborative, and look at partnerships, because that is going to be key to our survival.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll connect.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed this.
I did too. I really do. And thank you again for waking up and hanging in there with me, because I know you could be asleep and the West Coast is just now waking up. But thank you, Glenda. I hope to see you soon in Detroit.
Okay. Or I might see you in the South.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow, that was amazing. I tell you, every time we do this show, it just never ceases to amaze me of the power of conversation, the power of talking to women that certainly have insights and wisdom, revelation, and knowledge that we can share. It's all about what Glenda just said: working together, one, giving each other grace, and making sure that we understand that it takes all of us, and especially during these times. Let's stay connected. Let's do the things that we need to do to make sure that we're helping each other through whatever storm there may be, but also realizing that there's always hope in all the things that we've done in the past. Is certainly not anything new that we can't overcome. So thank you, Glenda, for being with us today. And ladies, I want to just remind you, and gentlemen that are with us today, that this will be replayed. You can get the replay through LinkedIn, Facebook, and or YouTube. And please don't forget that you can pick up the spring edition of Career Master Magazine at www.careermaster.com, as well as tickets to the Charlotte and tickets to the Detroit luncheons. We're excited. And next week, we'll have another guest. And until that time, I thank you for being with us.